You're listening to Kendrick Loves to Brand, the branding podcast featuring stories and lessons from entrepreneurs and brand builders so you can get inspiration, insights, strategies, and tactics as you create your own game-changing brand. What is up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Mindset Monday on the Kendrick Loves to Brand podcast. The theme for today's show is Win the Day. This is the mantra that I've been using personally to help me keep my focus and to stay productive, especially during times when I feel overwhelmed. Overwhelm can come in different ways, as you guys know. It can be due to the sheer amount of work we need to get done, the amount of fires we have to put out in any given day, or when things are simply not working the way it should be. Even this situation with the pandemic has been overwhelming for all of us, for sure. Goals feel so distant with all the uncertainty surrounding everything. So what can we do? I've found that the best way to beat overwhelm or malaise, whatever you want to call it, is to just focus on winning the day. Organize and put some structure to the day, have a plan for how you can win the day, and just this day in front of you, not tomorrow, not a day or a few days from now, a week ahead or months ahead. Just focus on winning one day at a time. So in this episode, I wanted to share with you guys what I do to do exactly this, to win the day, to put some structure in my day so that I can actually have a productive day. I have a bullet journal that I use. It's an Antidote custom bullet journal that we have in the office, and I use it to plan my day. So what I do is, if you can picture what a bullet journal is, I think it will help if you guys Google it so you can see what it looks like. It's basically a notebook or a journal with instead of lines on the pages or instead of blank pages, you have like the little dotted pages. So that's what a bullet journal is. So what I do with each page is basically just write out the date and the day at the top left of the page, and then on the opposite side of that, on the right upper right side, I write win the day. And then I follow that with a Y for yes and an N for no. And then below that, I put two sets of checklists of 5 items each. These are the first set of 5 items relate to personal development goals, while the other 5 are all about my goals for my companies and my brands. So essentially anything related to work. So what happens is the first 5 items in the list are constant. Like I never change them until I feel like my goal for that particular personal development goal has been achieved. Then I'll review and change it. But if not, that stays the same. Those are basically like habits that I'm trying to build. I'm trying to be consistent with. So example, under the first list would be pray, read, write, or post, and meditate, and the last one would be either workout or like in recent months or weeks I've been writing push-up, especially during this time. So I just wanted to quickly explain why each of these things are important to me. Obviously, number one is pray. It's something that I used to do more consistently, but sometimes when you do get overwhelmed with your day and there are a lot of things that you need to do, it's easy to overlook the spiritual aspect of our lives. And I found that during the days where I actually pray, especially at the start of the day, it helps just helps you feel more connected to your higher being, whatever you want to whatever you guys believe in, whether you believe in God or the Buddha or Allah or whatever it is. Just having that connection to a higher being, to your spirituality, I think is very important. So that's the first thing that I try to check off my list. The second thing is read. I used to really devour books, but now it's been more of a struggle for me, especially reading physical books. I do better now listening to audiobooks and podcasts, and reading long form articles. So that's been something that I'm trying to work on. So I purposely put this here so that it's a reminder for me to consciously pick up a book that I'm reading, and read just either 10 pages or or read for 30 minutes. Again, there's a little bit of flexibility here. Sometimes I read a book, sometimes I just read long form articles that I save in an app on my phone called Pocket. So if you guys don't know, you guys can check that app out. That's one of my favorite apps on my phone. It's basically an app where you can store or save any articles that you find online that you want to read for later. So it's very helpful for me. So I try to have this and for this particular task or goal, like reading, I don't count like reading articles about the NBA or any of my hobbies, because like those are very easy for me to get through. I go through like easily like 5 to 10 articles of the NBA every day. As long as there's something new to read, I'll read it. So I don't count that. I only count reading about business or self-development or any entrepreneurship book or long form article that I can find. So that's for read. And then the third thing is write or post. This is also something that I'm trying to rebuild, this habit of writing. I used to write a lot back in college and the early years when I was just beginning to work. So this is something that I want to be conscious of. Also, just being able to put things on paper or writing something. Doesn't have to be like a long piece of writing. Just being able to put down your thoughts. And I put a slash post on it because sometimes like even posting on social media about our brands or the work that we do, it's something that I also need to be consistent of. So I put that there. So it's either I write something down on my journal or I write something to post something online. The fourth thing is meditate. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that I've mentioned this a couple of times in the interview that I did with Miko Baranda, my good friend Miko Baranda of Accelerate. We talked about transcendental meditation, and both of us are doing the same thing. We went through the same instructor, Mr. Paulie Castillo, and this is something that has been very beneficial for me in terms of I guess for lack of a better word, just releasing stress, built up stress, subconscious and conscious stress that's been like sort of in my mind, deep within my mind. So TM, transcendental meditation, has been very helpful for me. It's something that I'm still working on being more consistent with. I do struggle a little bit with the practice of it, being consistent. I'm actually supposed to be doing it twice a day, but oftentimes I'm just doing it once a day. Especially during even during this time when we're at home, you would think that it would be easier to do it, but we have a toddler and we have a lot of work that we're doing, so it's pretty much like whenever every waking second there's something that needs to be done. So finding that 20-minute sort of window is something that I have to actively schedule for and be conscious of being able to do. But on the days that I actually get to do it, when I get to meditate, there's actually a big difference in terms of how clear my mind is, I would say. So yeah, that's something that I really I'm trying to work on being more consistent with. And the last thing is I mentioned earlier, workout or push-up. So before when I could still go to the gym, this is something that I was trying to really build the habit of being able to work out. But I also want to keep it simple, especially during this time, during this quarantine. So I went back to my habit of doing push-ups daily. This was something that I did about 3 years ago, just every day for the whole year. I was very consistent with doing push-ups every day. So what I did was to sort of force yourself, or to get you back into the groove of working out and being active. I think push-ups are very effective way to do it, and you can set. And for those of you who are who like me, struggled with staying in shape and sort of getting the motivation to do it every day, I actually set a very simple goal for doing push-ups, which is just 10 a day. You can even start with one push-up a day if you're not used to doing push-ups, because the act of actually going down on the floor and doing, whether it's 10 or 5 or one push-up, when you're on the floor already, you'll find that you'll oftentimes, not just do the minimum that you put in as your goal. So, for example, when I started doing this a few weeks ago, when I started reconnecting with this habit of, organizing my day in my bullet journal, the first few days I was just doing 10 push-ups, and that was it, done. Even if I didn't do anything else active for the day, anything else physical for the day, I know that at the back of my mind I did the 10 push-ups, so that's at least a step in the right direction, compared to not doing anything at all. But just after a few days of doing the 10, I was gradually building up to doing 15, 20, 25. So this is a great habit to start with, actually, if you're trying to get back in shape and you haven't been doing anything active for the longest time. Just set like really, I wouldn't necessarily say low bars, but like sort of like minimum that you need to do for the day. And like anyone can do one push-up or 10 push-ups if you've been doing push-ups your whole life. Being able to do 10 again, even if it's on your knees or something like that, it's not that hard. It's not impossible. So at least it's a little bit of a challenge, but not that daunting for you to skip or not want to do. When you see it on your list, you're gonna want to just cross that off. And the thing is, once you're there, like I said, once you're on the floor doing the push-ups, it tends to sort of push you to do a little bit extra. Since you're there already on the floor, you're already sort of struggling and going through the motion, so might as well like add on a couple, 5 more day by day. So that's a great habit to do. So basically those are the 5 things that I do for my personal development. And then after that, so the second list of 5 items would then be anything related to my business, to the brands, even the podcast. If I'm looking to do something specific around if it's a release day for an episode, or if it's a recording day for an episode, and I have something specific that I want to work on, then it goes into the list of 5. So why list of 5? Some of you might say, well, what if I have like a lot of things, like 10 things, 20 things that I need to do during the day? I would say pick the 5 most important tasks or most critical tasks from your list. Like if you're an entrepreneur like myself, you'd find all these things that you need to do during the day. It's not just 5. There's a lot of things we all need to do. But what I've found out through experience, trying to write down like 20, 30 things to do in a day, it's very rare to be able to get all those things done. And then you feel like that anxiety of having a few boxes or a lot of boxes unchecked, and that actually builds up over time, and it makes you feel more overwhelmed, makes you feel like you're not actually accomplishing things. And I've found that by putting 5 of the most critical tasks in a day, and only 5 to start with, even though I know that, like I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, I have another app that I use, Trello, where I just dump everything that I can think of that I need to do for a particular brand, and it's just there. I don't look at it unless I have to pick things from there to put on my top 5 list for the day. So what I do is I have to get through the 5 things on the list no matter what before I can even think and look at the master list and put more things. Now look, some days you're going to be so switched on that by like mid-morning you can be done with the 5 things, and that's great, right? Now you have the rest of the day to either do more things or to take some time off to get creative, to sort of unwind if you've been under a lot of stress lately. But if you're done with the 5 things before the middle of the day, then you have the rest of the day to put more things on the list, right? You can start by adding 1, a couple more, 3 more, and that's great. But the important thing is, as long as you get those 5 critical tasks that's going to move your business or your brand or your career or your venture, whatever it is, your side hustle, as long as you can get those 5 things done to move those things forward, then at the end of the day, you can look at those 10 tasks, your personal development goals, and your we're talking about my list. So like what I do is, at the end of the day, I look at the 10 things, and as long as I got all those things done, then that's a win. So I'll go back to the top of the page where I wrote the Y and the N, and I box the Y, and that's a win. So that's how I look at winning the day. They say action is the antidote to despair. So and I think that applies to overwhelm, to anxiety. I know a lot of you have reached out to me and talked about feeling unproductive and feeling unsure about things, feeling really feeling unsettled by what's been happening. And the reality is, I think for the vast majority of us, that's really the overwhelming feeling that's the most common thing that we're all feeling right now. And it's something that I also am working on. I also have days where I just don't have the motivation when I wake up and I don't have it, when the anxiety is there. But what helps me is having planned the day, having organized my day the previous night. So again, sorry if I failed to mention this. I actually write down these things the night before. So before I sleep, I already write the date for the next day. I already write I write the same 5 things. Again, like I said, pray, read, write, meditate, and push-ups. And then I write the 5 things that I want to get done for the next day, and that's before I sleep. So when I wake up the next day, even if I don't feel like doing anything, the first thing that I do, after like you wake up and you brush your teeth and do all those things, is I look at the bullet journal and I see those tasks. And no matter how low you feel, how low your energy is, or how low your motivation is that day, or maybe like all the stress that you've been thinking of, all the anxiety is there. Maybe you picked up your phone too early and scrolled through social media and found yourself feeling the overwhelm immediately. But looking at the list, I'll see, like I said, very easy things at the start of the list. Pray. I can do that, right? You don't need to be motivated to pray. All you have to do is just get connected to your God or your higher being, and just pray, right? Which is actually good. If you're feeling anxiety, you can just let out your anxiety and while you're praying. So you get that done, and then you can look at reading. How hard is it to just open up a book or open up a long form article and just start reading, right? You don't need to be extra motivated to read 10 pages or 30 minutes. And then if you don't feel like writing, then you can skip. You can do meditation first if you're not feeling like meditation. If you don't have quiet time to do meditation yet, I go straight to doing push-ups. And you don't really need, like I said, you don't need to get motivated to do a few push-ups. It's just a few push-ups, right? Nobody's asking you to do burpees or anything else, but you can do it after you're already sweating. If you feel like if you feel extra motivated after getting some blood pumped up by doing the push-ups, by all means. But like I said, it's just a way. It's a way to keep me focused, to draw my focus into these few tasks that are on this piece of paper, on my notebook, on my journal, and that just helps bring my energy, bring my focus back into what's important. And the important thing is to just focus on winning the day. So that's it, guys. I'm very curious actually as to what you guys do. If this resonates with you, if this is something that you've been practicing, whether you call it winning the day or by any other term. I'm very curious, what do you guys do? What are the productivity tips that you guys do, or hacks, or just habits that you guys have been either trying or have been doing for the past few years already that you've found to be successful for you to help you win the day? If you guys have those things, please do share it with me. I'm very curious and very interested to learn more from everybody. So Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we have a lot of episodes up and recorded already, so over the next few weeks you're gonna hear a lot of amazing guests. So I hope that you guys are subscribed to the show, and if you're enjoying this episode or any of the episodes, like I said, this show is free. The only thing I would ask is that if you guys enjoy this, please do share it to a friend. Please tell your friends about it. That's the only way that's the best way to help the show grow some more and for more people to discover it. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, and have a great week ahead.
Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review the show on iTunes. It will help more people discover the show. You can also share a screen cap of the show on your social media accounts. Make sure to tag me and let me know which part of the episode you like or didn't like. All feedback is certainly welcome, so feel free to reach out to me on Instagram @KendrickCo to let me know what topics you'd like to be covered next and who you want to hear or learn from in future episodes. Until next time, do the work you want to see done, because life's too short to not be creating your life's work.